between first and second grade, Wills began occupational therapy. Wills needed help with fine motor skills.
We all looked at our occupational therapist.
I started to say, going through this is ridiculous, because you guys know. Are you ready? You should say this. Holding a pencil correctly, buttoning shirts, tying shoes, zipping his pants, and using a fork. I didn't even know what OT was at first, sorry. It sounded more like a place where an ad executive might go to learn better marketing strategies than a colorful gym with sunny, warm classrooms and dear, dear therapists. Wills and I drove into the parking lot. It's true, of therapy in action in the heart of Reseda. The concrete building didn't look like a place of healing, as there was gang graffiti on the walls. Wills immediately began humming, which was something new, something that he did now when he was nervous. I was nervous too. But I wanted him to get better and to have every chance for success, so I parked the car and walked around to open his door. He was sitting in his booster seat, staring straight ahead. "Hey, pal, this place looks pretty interesting, huh?" I said, starting to unbuckle him. "What's wrong with me?" Wills asked. I stopped, stunned. He'd never asked me this before, and yet it was a moment I suspected was coming sometime. My mind raced. I didn't know what to say to him, how much information to give without revealing too much. But I knew from Katherine, his therapist, his amazing therapist, that I needed to answer his question and tell him the truth. "Well, honey, your brain doesn't always tell your body how to move correctly or balance itself. This place will teach your body to listen to your brain. There's a big gym in there with all kinds of really fun equipment that will help you learn to balance on a bike, button those little shirts, catch a ball, and maybe tie both your shoes," I said. "Well, why doesn't anybody else come here?" he asked. "It's true that there aren't other kids in your class who come here, but there are many children who do. And every child, including every single child in your class, has something they struggle with, but it's not always the same thing. You need to learn how to hold a pencil so you can write neat letters and numbers. Jason is getting help from a tutor so he can recognize his numbers, but guess what, Wills? You already know yours." "Let's go in," he said. I held his sweaty hand as we walked toward the front door. There were about 1,000 ways I could have comforted my child at that moment, but I couldn't come up with a single one. We walked to the entrance in silence. This was only the first time the question had come up. There would be many more times. Would I have the courage to tell Wills the absolute truth? That he wasn't just imagining the world was a more difficult place for him to understand, that it was, in fact, more difficult. That he'd been dealt maybe a rotten hand in that regard, but only in that one regard, because I would not change one freckle, one misunderstood moment, one tiny piece of him for anything in this world. I would change myself. I would change the things that other people said or thought out of ignorance or fear. I would change so many things, but I absolutely would never, in a million years, change my boy.